I did not expect Apple to make a laptop like this. The MacBook Neo feels almost out of character for the company. At first, for years you wanted a MacBook, you were usually looking at a starting price of $999 US. Sure, older models like the MacBook Air M1 could fall to around $699 US on sale, but that was still far above what most budget buyers were shopping for. The MacBook Neo starts at just $599 US for education, which is a huge jump downward. That is $500 less than the new MacBook Air M5. And yes, that price is low enough to set off warning alarms, but after testing the MacBook Neo, I think the surprise is not that it is cheap. The surprise is that it is actually good. In fact, it is the most balanced laptop I have used under $600 US, and it easily beats every Windows laptop I have tried in this class. It also leaves most Chromebooks behind. For $599 US, Apple gives you an aluminum body that feels solid and premium, a bright 500 nit display with rich color, and the A18 Pro chip, which is fast enough for everyday work, streaming, browsing, light productivity, and casual game. The side-mounted speakers are also much better than they have any right to be at this price. So, what did Apple give up to make that happen? Where does this laptop fit in the wider market? And should you actually buy it? Let's get into the full MacBook Neo review. The MacBook Neo is one of the most interesting Apple products in a long time, and it launches at a time when value matters more than ever. Prices are rising across consumer electronics, memory is getting more expensive, global trade pressure is still affecting hardware costs, and people are simply more cautious with money than they used to be. Apple is usually treated as the company that sells premium gear, and that is mostly true. But that does not mean Apple cannot make good value products. The Mac Mini M4 is already a strong example of that. The MacBook Neo goes one step further by targeting the budget and mid-range laptop space directly. That is a market filled with Chromebooks and affordable Windows laptops, and Apple is now entering it with a product built entirely on its own rules. And that is the key point here. The MacBook Neo is cheaper, but it does not feel striped down in the usual way. You still get a beautiful aluminum laptop, now offered in 4 lively color options that make Apple's lineup feel more fun again. The display is another big win. It is a 13-inch Retina panel with 2408 by 1506 resolution, which is sharper than the 1080p screens that dominate this price range. The webcam is 1080p and looks clean for video calls, the speakers sound excellent, and the laptop runs the full version of macOS. That means you are not stuck in a limited or locked down environment. You can use the standard Mac apps just like you would on a more expensive Mac. The main compromise is memory. The base model has 8GB of unified memory, which is enough for everyday use, but it is not ideal for heavy multitasking. Even so, for standard schoolwork, browsing, office tasks, and light creative work, it performs well. The real story though is the price. At $599 US, the MacBook Neo is shockingly competitive. For students, the price drops to $499 US, and at that point it becomes very hard to argue against. Finding a Windows laptop or Chromebook that matches this level of build quality and display quality at that price is extremely difficult. Of course, there are trade-offs. The keyboard has no backlight, so it is not ideal in low light, and the 2 USB-C ports use older USB 3 and USB 2 technology instead of modern high-speed standards. Still, even with those compromises, Apple has made one of the strongest budget laptops available in 2026. It may not be the cheapest laptop you can buy, but it is one of the most complete. That alone makes it a serious problem for the competition. The MacBook Neo's performance story is unusual, but it makes sense once you look at the pricing. Instead of using an M-series chip, Apple chose the A18 Pro, the same chip that powered the iPhone 16 Pro. On paper, that sounds strange. In practice, it is a smart, cost-saving move. Apple has been building mobile chips for much longer than its computer chips, and the latest iPhone silicon is extremely capable. For a budget laptop, that may be a better approach than using a weak conventional laptop chip that struggles under normal use. Using an older iPhone chip lets Apple keep the price down while still delivering strong everyday performance. You might wonder why Apple did not simply use an older M chip like the M1. The company says the A18 Pro has a 16-core neural engine that is better suited for on-device AI work, including Apple Intelligence features inside macOS. The M1 is not as strong in that area, and the A18 also uses faster memory, so the choice is more deliberate than it first appears. Because the A18 Pro is still a 64-bit ARM chip, you are not getting some limited phone-only system here. The MacBook Neo runs full macOS, which means standard Mac apps work normally. And that matters. This is not a lockdown machine like many Chromebooks, which are limited to a narrower set of apps, or Windows 11 laptops, which are restricted in annoying ways and often push you toward Microsoft Store downloads and Edge browsing. The MacBook Neo avoids that kind of frustration completely. For everyday use, the experience is very good. macOS runs smoothly enough, and while it is not as fast as a MacBook Pro, it is still impressive for a machine this affordable. I would recommend keeping the workload light and realistic. Use built-in apps, office software, browsing, streaming, and basic creative tools, and the Neo behaves well. I tested it with GarageBand and Keynote, and both worked without issue. That is exactly the kind of software this machine is meant to handle. It can also go further. I installed Steam, which needs Rosetta on non-Intel hardware, and it ran fine. That shows how open the Neo is compared with Chromebooks and other budget systems. You are not trapped inside a limited app ecosystem. Apple's ecosystem integration is also fully intact. You can mirror your iPhone, move files between devices, share your clipboard, make calls, send messages, and use an iPad as a second display. I even tested it with the new M5 iPad Pro, which is very uneven pairing in terms of price, but the feature worked great. That is one of the best things about the MacBook Neo. It still feels like a real Mac, not a cheaper version of one. The limits are mostly about hardware. If you want heavy 3D rendering, serious video editing, or a big creative workload, this is not the right machine. It can do a lot, but it is not meant to do everything. The 8GB of unified memory is the biggest technical concern. Unified memory is shared across the system and graphics, so once you start opening multiple apps or using more demanding workloads, it fills up quickly. During my testing with Safari, Keynote, GarageBand, and a Steam download running, memory usage reached roughly 6.48 GB to 7 GB. That is very close to the ceiling. And once memory is maxed out, the system slows down. There is no upgrade path here, and you cannot just add more RAM later. So the memory choice has to work for your needs from day one. For light users, it is probably enough. For heavier multitaskers, it is not. If you are planning to use the laptop for more demanding work, the MacBook Air M5 is the better choice because it starts with 16 GB of unified memory. The Neo is a good machine, but it is not built for high-pressure workloads. Gaming is possible too, though not in a high-end way. I got Cyberpunk 2077 running at a playable 30 FPS using the For This Mac preset. It was heavily reduced visually with many settings turned low or off, but the fact that a fanless $599 laptop can do that at all is genuinely impressive. It also plays iPhone and iPad games very well, which makes more sense for this hardware. Overall, the performance is strong for the money. It is good for school, web work, media, and light productivity. It is flexible, quiet, and more capable than most rivals, but it is still a budget machine and it should be treated like one. One more plus, it is fanless. That means silent operation, which is a big deal when you compare it with budget Windows laptops that often becomes noisy under load. Battery life is another area where the MacBook Neo does very well. Apple says you can get up to 16 hours of video streaming or up to 11 hours of wireless web browsing. Those are strong claims, especially for a laptop in this category. In testing, the MacBook Neo lasted 13.5 hours before shutting down. That is enough for a full day of work or classes without needing a charger. It is not the absolute longest lasting laptop in the market, but it is still excellent. That makes it especially appealing for students who move between classes or people who do not want to carry a charger everywhere. Charging is also fairly quick with the included 20-watt adapter unless you are in the UK or Europe where you need to bring your own charger. The MacBook Neo is the best budget laptop you can buy right now. It sits at the higher end of the budget category, but the quality gap between it and most Windows laptops or Chromebooks at the same price is hard to ignore. The MacBook Neo looks better, feels better, and performs better in daily use. The display is excellent, the speakers are unusually good, and the overall experience feels far more premium than the price suggests. What Apple really nailed here is the software side. This is not a watered-down Mac experience. You still get full Mac OS, broad app support, and the normal Apple ecosystem features that makes MacBooks so useful in the first place. Yes, there are compromises. The memory is limited, the keyboard has no backlight, and the USB-C setup is odd. But those trade-offs are easier to accept when the rest of the machine is this well executed. In the end, the MacBook Neo is exactly what a budget MacBook should be. Simple, capable, polished, and worth the money.